ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादि पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5, verse 15. So, here Krishna was saying that the embodied spirit, that is Atma, he does not do anything, nor does he induce anybody to do anything, nor does he create the fruits of actions. Everything is enacted by the modes. Now, many times, people also say, blame it on the Supreme Lord. So, Krishna is also saying, nor does the Supreme Lord assume anyone's pious or sinful or pious activities. Embodied beings, however, are bewildered because of the ignorance which covers their knowledge. So the jiva, because of their ignorance, they end up desiring something. Now, but that should not be attributed to the Supreme Lord. He does not assume anyone's sinful or pious activities. So in the purport Prabhupada explains, saying that sometimes people say that Supreme Lord only made me do this, or Supreme Lord only did this. No, it's all the jiva because of ignorance, desiring something wrong, doing whatever, then engaging in sin, pious and impious activities. The Supreme Lord is not involved. What is the role of the Supreme Lord here? He's saying Supreme Lord is more Paramatma. Paramatma is Anumanta Upadrishta. He is just overseer and permitter, but he is not causing anybody to act, or he is not even accepting anybody else's pious or impious activities. That is all left to the jiva. So we should not blame the Supreme Lord for anything. It's all us only. We are only cause of our own misery and happiness. He's just permitter. You want to go and fall into the well, he'll say, no, no, don't do, it's not good for you. But we say, no, no, I know everything, I'm intelligent, I want to fall. Krishna says, okay, fall. I'm allowing you to fall. Okay. When, however, one is enlightened with knowledge by which nescience is destroyed, then his knowledge reveals everything as the sun lights up everything in the daytime. So here, previous verse, Krishna said that it's because of the ignorance that the jiva bewildered results in these kind of material pious and impious activities. But when one is enlightened with knowledge, then his ignorance goes off. And then he's able to see everything properly with the right vision. So then he will not engage himself in the pious and impious activities of this world. When one's intelligence, mind, faith, and refuge are all fixed in the Supreme, how? Based on when one gets knowledge. So then his intelligence, mind, faith, and refuge are all fixed in the Supreme. Then one becomes fully cleansed of misgivings. Misgivings means misunderstandings, wrong thinking, through complete knowledge, and thus proceeds straight on the path of liberation. So till one is in ignorance, he engages in material activities and binds himself. When one comes into knowledge, then everything is revealed to him, and then what does he do? And when his intelligence, mind, faith, and refuge, shelter, they're all fixed in the Supreme. So between these two, between starting to getting enlightened to being fixed, there is some time, right? So people have knowledge, but they can't be fixed. So it takes time. So that is the process of anartha nivrutti. So when all the anarthas are gone, then he remains fixed. And when he remains fixed, then he doesn't have any misunderstanding. And so he doesn't engage in material activities. He just proceeds straight on the path of liberation. And humble sages, by virtue of true knowledge. So what does this true knowledge result in? He sees with equal vision everything. Learned Brahmana, cow, elephant, dog eater. Those whose minds are established in sameness and equanimity, they've already conquered the conditions of birth and death. So one who sees everybody equally and deals, is able to deal with our happiness or distress, they take it, they treat it equally. They don't get too excited when there's happiness or too upset when there is sadness. So their mind is established in sameness and equanimity. So they've conquered the conditions of birth and death. That means that they don't have to take birth again. They're flawless like Brahman. They're already situated in Brahman because this is the Brahma Bhuta platform. This is the transcendental platform. When we are not seeing the material, whenever we are not seeing material things, we are only seeing Atma. And because we are also firmly fixed in the fact that we are also Atma, we are not affected by material things. So this is sameness and equanimity. This is Mukti, Brahmabhuta. So when there is no knowledge, then one engages in material activities and engages in sinful and pious activities. When there is knowledge, then everything lights up, and then when he becomes fixed in the Supreme, then he proceeds on the path of liberation. Now that person who is making progress, he will see everybody equally. He sees only the Atma, and he remains in sameness and equanimity, and then he comes to the Brahman platform. So for devotees also this is important because, like I've said multiple times, that this is an intermediate milestone for us, Brahmabhuta, that we have to come to this stage of not getting affected by material things, seeing everybody on the platform of the soul. We have to come to this platform. Unfortunately today, in spite of being in Krishna consciousness for sufficient time, we have not been trained, or we have not been told that we need to come to this platform. See, one of the things about devotion is misconception, right? Agnana. Like we are not in right knowledge. So people are thinking, saying that whatever they are doing is devotion. Whatever progress they have achieved is good. But we don't seem to know from on the basis of Shastra what progress we are expected to achieve, right? So we have to understand, and that we have to very quickly, we have to come to the platform of Brahmabhuta. We should not get affected materially. We should not see others materially. We should see with spiritual vision. Again, our discussion can be the same. It's difficult. Yes, it's difficult. But the process is very powerful. Process is very powerful. If we are in knowledge, which means that we are doing regular Shravanam, reading Prabhupada's books, then these things will keep bothering us, saying that, oh, I'm not able to see with equal vision. What is the problem? What should I do? And that pushes us to actually, make progress. And then we will come to this stage. We will come to this stage. We should come to this stage. And a person who neither rejoices upon achieving something pleasant nor laments upon obtaining something unpleasant, who is self-intelligent. Self-intelligent means he's intelligent on the platform of Atma. So he's unbewildered. Whatever happens in life, he's not affected by that. And he knows the science of God. He's already in transcendence. This is the Brahmabhuta platform. And such a liberated person is not attracted to material sense pleasure because he knows that it's useless. But he is always in trance. Trance means what? Samadhi means always thinking about Krishna, always in the mood of serving Krishna. And he's enjoying pleasure within. Now, this within means the pleasure, ananda of the Atma, eternal happiness. In this way, he enjoys unlimited happiness, for he concentrates on the Supreme. So it's very clear, unless one concentrates on the Supreme, one cannot enjoy unlimited happiness. So this can also be the stage of a Gnani. Gnani can also come to the platform concentrating on the Supreme, and then he can also enjoy unlimited happiness. But then Krishna also subsequently says that is too much of hard work, very difficult. Might not also reach, there's no guarantee that we'll reach the end goal. But bhakti is very, very easy. From day one can experience this. So an intelligent person does not take part in the sources of misery. What is sources of misery? Material activities. All material activities are sources of misery. And how do they come? Due to contact with material senses. Such pleasures have a beginning and an end, so the wise man does not delight in them. Nateshu ramate buddha. This is very, very important. Because these are all just sources of misery. While they look like they're sources of happiness, but they're actually sources of misery. So only in ignorance should we engage in material sense gratification. When we come to the platform of knowledge, we should realize, oh, this is all sources of misery. Why should I do this? And anyway, it has a beginning and an end. So wise person and does not delight in them, in material activities. So before giving up this present body, if one is able to tolerate the urges of the material senses and check the force of desire and anger, he is well situated and is happy in this world. So yuktaha, he is in touch with the Supreme. So sukhi naraha, he is happy. This is Brahmabhuta. So we should be able to tolerate the urges of the senses. Now, see, we should understand this is vegam, vacho vegam, manasa krodha vegam, jibba vegam, udaropastha vegam. So these vegas, these urges, pushes, we have to tolerate. Now, some people say, oh, yeah, some things I'm able to tolerate. Now, the things that we are able to tolerate are not pushing us. For whatever reason, we've overcome that the attraction to some things, some material things. But then there are others which are pushing. We need to focus on that and somehow figure a way to actually tolerate the urge. And then we should check the force of desire and anger, material desire. Now, for all this, the simplest solution Prabhupada recommends throughout Bhagavad Gita is to engage all our senses all the time in Krishna consciousness. It is the sure shot path to achieving self-control. When you don't have, Prabhupada says, devotee who is fully engaged in Krishna consciousness, he does not have time to think about material things. Our life should become like that. Then these material urges, etc., will not matter. Or, like I keep saying this, we should take up something very big in Krishna consciousness, such that it absorbs us. Even then, we will not get affected by these material urges. So, but we have to come again. This is the Brahmabhuta stage. We have to come to this stage. One whose happiness is within, who is active and rejoices within, and whose aim is inward, is actually the perfect mystic. So basically, it's not outward, meaning it's not connected to the material world. Inward doesn't mean that we just sit and do dhyana. Inward just means that it's connected with the Atma. So he's liberated in the Supreme and ultimately attains the Supreme. So the important thing is to be connected with the Supreme. It's not an internal dhyana process. And so we say, okay, no, I'm not going to engage in any physical activities. No, because body, mind, everything needs to be purified. And the purification process is to engage in Krishna consciousness. Those who are beyond the dualities that arise from doubts, whose minds are engaged within, who are always busy working for the welfare of all beings, and who are free from all sins, achieve liberation in the Supreme. So, again, further in explanation of this liberated state. And so, please note that it is important that we work for the welfare of all living beings. Of course, he is beyond dualities because he is not on the material duality platform, materialistic platform of duality, and whose mind are engaged with him. Again, same thing. And they're busy working, not that they're just doing some meditation and something. No, and they don't engage in sinful activities. They will achieve liberation. Like I said, see, this is not a big thing for us at all, for devotees. It's just intermediate milestone, which should actually, considering how powerful the process is, if we properly accept the process, this should be very easy for us to achieve. Those who are free from anger and all material desires, who are self-realized, self-disciplined, very importantly, self-disciplined, and constantly endeavoring for perfection, please note this, are assured of liberation in the very near future. So, liberation we should achieve in the very near future. And what is required for that? We should be free from Vita Raga Bhaya Krodha. And then self-discipline, very, very important. These two, self-disciplined and constantly endeavoring for perfection. Kama krodha vimuktanam yatinam yatachetasam abhito brahma nirvanam vartate vidhatmanam. Prabhupada is saying this is we have to be self-disciplined and constantly endeavoring. We can't just give up. We can't take a holiday for working towards perfection. We can't take a holiday. We have to be constantly endeavoring. And we should be self-disciplined. And this is tough for many people. So which is where association comes into play. And so we have to have the association of those devotees who are constantly endeavoring. Then we can achieve in the very near future. Again, don't think that this is a multi-life goal, multiple lifetime goal. No, we can achieve this in the very near future. And that very near future is how much confidence, faith we have in the process. If you think, no, it's going to take me few lifetimes, okay, Krishna will say tathastu. But the process is very powerful. Absolutely, this liberation at least is a within one lifetime thing. Liberation. Prema, yes, can be. We cannot, like, yeah, I mean, it's a much bigger goal to achieve. But liberation should be very easy. Shutting out all external sense objects, keeping eyes and vision concentrated between the two eyebrows, suspending the inward and outward breaths within the nostrils, and thus controlling the mind, senses, and intelligence. The transcendentalist aiming at liberation becomes free from desire, fear, and anger. One who is always in this state is certainly liberated. So now Krishna is now going to talk about the dhyana process. So he says one again. So the result of all these processes, whether we do bhakti, gnana, dhyana, is that we have to become free from raga, bhaya, krodha. One who is always in this state is certainly liberated. Always in this state. Not that sometimes we come to this state, sometimes we don't. That means that is still anishtita stage, anartha nivritti stage. When we become always in this state, that is nishtha or liberation, mukti. And Krishna ends this discussion with this very beautiful verse, which is the peace formula. How do we get rid from the material miseries? Is to understand that bhoktaram yagna tapasa. We have to be in full consciousness of Krishna, knowing him to be the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices. He is the supreme lord of all planets and demigods. And more importantly, Surudham Sarvabhutana. He is the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities. One who knows this attains peace from pangs of material miseries. He achieves peace. Because he knows that, okay, if there is any problem, there is a bigger supreme lord with me, and he's the benefactor and my well-wisher. So he will do the needful. So full consciousness means that whenever there is any situation, first we have to remember Krishna. That is full consciousness of Krishna. Knowing Krishna's supreme position, knowing that he's our well-wisher, we can just be peaceful, saying that, okay, it's fine. There's a problem, but I'm just leaving it. I'm surrendering this to the Supreme Lord, and he will take care of it. So one attains peace. Okay. So any questions on this chapter? Very nice chapter, actually. This is, smooth flow and brings us to understanding that we have to reach this Brahma Bhuta quickly. Any questions? All clear? Okay, move on to the chapter 6. Dhyana Yoga. Supreme Personality of Godhead said, one who is unattached to the fruits of his work and who works as he is obligated is in the renounced order of life. And he is the true mystic, not he who lights no fire and performs no duty. So again, Krishna is explaining the same question that he started that Arjuna asked in the beginning of 5th chapter, saying that which is better, one who works in devotion or one who is renounced. So he's saying, Krishna is concluding, saying that one who is unattached to the fruits and who works as he is obligated is actually in the renounced order. He doesn't have to change his dress. He is the true mystic, not the one who changes his dress and is just. Of course, we should understand Vaishnava sannyasis are different. This is just the Gnani sannyasis. Not he who lights no fire and performs new duty. So one who doesn't light fire, which means he is not cooking, nor does he perform any duty, he is not the true mystic. He is not the one in renounced order. The person who is in renounced order is, he works but he is unattached. And he is working based on prescribed duty. What is called renunciation, you should know to be the same as yoga or linking oneself with the Supreme. For one can never become a yogi unless he renounces the desire for sense gratification. So whatever process we take, this desire for sense gratification has to go. For one who is a neophyte in this Ashtanga Yoga process, work is said to be the means. So somebody should not argue saying that, see, Krishna is saying work without attachment, so I'm going to work my whole life. No, Krishna is very clearly saying here, saying that for one who is a neophyte, work is said to be the means. So for a neophyte, he should work without being attached. But for one who is already elevated, cessation of all material activities is the means. So we should understand that when we become elevated in yoga, we should stop all material activities. Clear? So yoga rudha. So when we become yoga rudha, elevated in yoga, in the process of connection with the Supreme, we should stop all material activities. This is absolutely important, because otherwise we cannot move towards achieving Krishna Prema. Because we'll continue to do karma. We should not continue to do karma. Karma is a lower platform. It's just we have to do because it's inevitable. Maybe our life situation is like that. We need to earn money, so we work. That's all. We should not plan to work all our life. And especially, I've been telling this, people who have the resources, please don't think about continuing to work. There are so many things to be done in Krishna consciousness. You can come and talk to me, and then we will plan something so that you are engaged for Krishna. Work for Krishna. You want to work? Okay, work for Krishna. Don't work for money. Work for Krishna. There's so many things to be done. So many people who are devotees who are trying to spread the Krishna consciousness movement, and they require so many resources, so much help. Prabhupada writes this. It's just like an organization, just like a company requires resources, funds, etc., etc. Even a Krishna conscious organization requires. So if you have the resources for your personal maintenance, please come, and we'll figure out a way for you to work for Krishna, not work for money, not work for yourself. And it can make a huge difference. It can benefit so many jivas, right? Because everybody has their own limitations, and we have, when more people with different abilities come together, it'll have a different impact. Okay. The person is said to be elevated in yoga. Who is this person who is elevated in yoga? He's renounced, having renounced all material desires, he neither acts for sense gratification nor engages in fruitive activities. So this is the yoga rudha. So by the time a person comes to yoga rudha, only he would have stopped material activities. He has no material desires. So he does not act for sense gratification, nor does he act for fruitive activities. Meaning, sense gratification is for something like could be immediate, and fruitive activities is next life. He doesn't do both. So now Krishna comes to this most important discussion about the mind. One must deliver himself with the help of his mind, not degrade himself. Mind is a friend of the conditioned soul and his enemy as well. What is the friend? What type of mind is the friend? One who has conquered the mind. Mind is best of friends. If it is a conquered mind, if the mind has been conquered, then it becomes friend. Otherwise, it will remain as enemy. But for one who has failed to control the mind, his mind will remain the greatest enemy. It's very easy to understand. It's going to keep dragging us to material sense gratification. That's all. So it is our enemy, because that by that we are going to remain bound in this material world. So it will remain the greatest enemy. For one who has conquered the mind, super soul is already reached. For he has attained tranquility. One who has conquered the mind, meaning whatever be the situation, he knows that, okay, I'm Atma, I'm not this body, whatever misery is coming to this body and mind, and that's all the result of my past karma. Now I should just remain fixed in the Supreme. That's all. Brahman, not get affected. He has attained tranquility. To such a man, happiness and distress, heat and cold, honor and dishonor are all the same. Jitatmanaha, he's conquered the mind, he's won over the mind. Prashantasya, he's peaceful, happy. Person is said to be established in self-realization is called a yogi when he is fully satisfied by virtue of acquired knowledge and realization. So Gnana and Vijnana. Gnana Vijnana Triptatma. Gnana Vijnana Sahitam. So whole Bhagavad Gita is Gnana Vijnana. So we got some knowledge and we also have realization. Then we are called self-realized. Fully satisfied. He's fully satisfied by the Gnana and Vijnana. It's very, very important. How does one become fully satisfied by Gnana and Vijnana? By first acquiring Gnana and applying it in our life. We become fully satisfied. Such a person is situated in transcendence and is self-controlled. He sees everything equally. Again, that same, when a person is in knowledge and he comes to and has realizations, then he doesn't fall down to the material platform. He's situated in transcendence and then he sees everything equally. Person is considered still further advanced when he regards honest well-wishers, affectionate benefactors, neutral mediators, envious friends, envious also. Envious friends and enemies also, equally. Pious and sinners also, with an equal mind. What is the equal mind? Seeing everybody on the platform of the soul and seeing that they're all disconnected from Krishna and hence suffering, and that they have to be given Krishna consciousness. This is seeing with an equal mind. This is what Srila Prabhupada has taught us. This is what Prahlad Maharaj has taught us. That is a still further advanced stage. When we can see everybody, even our own enemies, even those who are envious of us, seeing them and saying, Ayyo Papa, poor things. They're struggling, they're stuck, they're bound up. So this is advancement. So transcendentalists should always engage body, mind and self in relationship with Supreme. And now Krishna starts explaining the Ashtanga Yoga process. He should live alone in a secluded place. And Prabhupada says alone means free from material association. Yes, in a secluded place for us to do yoga, bhakti yoga, we should not be in some crowded marketplace and we are chanting. We're not sitting in front of the TV and chanting. So yeah, it's a secluded place. And should always carefully control his mind. So this is very, very important, right? Now, why is this 6th chapter relevant for us? Because it talks about mind and we can connect that with our chanting process. So we also do mantra dhyana. This is a different type of dhyana. We do mantra dhyana. Dhyana on the mantra, which is what we are supposed to do. The process is to do mantra dhyana, is to focus our minds on hearing the nama. That is called mantra dhyana. Dhyana on the mantra. So when we are trying to do dhyana on the mantra, then the mind is going to go here and there. What should we do? We should carefully control. So one of the things for also carefully controlling is not exposing ourselves to external sense objects. Meaning, suppose some people want to chant on the terrace. dangerous, right? Because you are exposed to so many objects, material objects, and your mind will just go in flick of a finger, it will go here, there, everywhere. So then there are some recommendations made that you're chanting, you should chant in a secluded place, meaning you should chant in a room which is with door closed, with windows, maybe the curtains closed, not exposing yourself to material things, material objects. Maybe sometimes it's also recommended that you cover your head or face with a cloth, etc., etc. The idea is don't allow the eyes to come in contact with some material object, at least to start with, because that's the easiest way to get distracted. It should be free from desires and feelings of possessiveness. This is a transcendentalist. Otherwise, we are a karmi. We could be semi-karmi, semi-transcendentalist. But we should understand we have to move towards this. Again, who becomes free from desires and feelings of possessiveness? And whose desires, who doesn't, he has so many spiritual desires that he has no time nor bandwidth to achieve any material desire. And to achieve those spiritual desires that he has, he uses everything in his possession. So he doesn't have any possessiveness. Get this point? So when we take up something bigger than ourselves, bigger than our capabilities, then that spiritual desire will consume us. Everything that we have to put behind it to make it happen. So then automatically mind is controlled. Mind doesn't go here and there. So this is the difference between dhyani and bhakta. That bhakta doesn't want to go alone and sit in just self swarthi, selfish. Devotees are not selfish. And devotee was asking me, saying that, Prabhu, then there are so many, we have to deal with so many Matajis. What can we do? We have to do, because this is our social welfare work. We should control our mind. And of course, when we are engaged in devotion, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will give us mercy too. He'll help us. But our only desire should be that all jivas should get delivered. All jivas should get delivered. And we should go out of our way to try. That is the absorption required. Then, yeah, he goes into detail. Practice yoga, one should go to a secluded place, should lay kushagrass on the ground, cover it with deer skin and a soft cloth. Seat should neither be too high nor too low. Should be situated in a sacred place. Yogi then should sit on it firmly and practice yoga to purify the heart by controlling mind, senses, and activities and fixing the mind on one point. For us, it is the fixing the mind on the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Right, rest of it might not be relevant except for the fact that it should be secluded. And sit very firmly and practice yoga. And to purify the heart. By just coming in contact with the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we purify our heart, mind, senses, activities, everything. Then this is the sitting asana. Hold one's body, neck and head erect in a straight line. Stare steadily at the tip of the nose. This is also useful in devotion. Sitting straight prevents us from becoming drowsy and sleepy. Okay, but we don't have to do this tip of the nose business. I heard some devotees actually even recommending all these things. It's not required. We have to focus on the nama. These external things will just, our focus will be now on the tip of the nose. We'll become nose conscious. I mean, it's not required. I've been chanting for a few years now. I know that without this also we can achieve good chanting. So we should not get sidetracked by all these things. Now, some things will help. Some people who are like drowsy, if you try to sit straight, then you can't sleep. Thus, with an unagitated, subdued mind, devoid of fear, completely free from sex life. Somebody said that no, all this, having sex with wife is acceptable. No, clearly Krishna is saying completely free from sex life. I mean, where does all this come from? I don't know, right? Just people make up their own for their own convenience. So completely free from sex life, one should meditate upon me within the heart and make me the ultimate goal of life. So pretty much similar, just wherever it is going, how we should just replace things appropriately with Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That's all. But everything else is relevant for us. We should remain unagitated. We should have a subdued mind. Mind is jumping up and down because of ahankara, because of pride, because of frustration, because of negative emotions. Why? All because we are materially attached. We want material things. We want material progress. We want material possessions. Then the mind can't be subdued. Apurimanam achala pratishtam. Krishna says that if you try to keep fulfilling your desires, you will never achieve peace. Stop trying to fulfill your desires, material desires. Then your mind will become subdued. And we should not also become fearful because Krishna is there with us. If somebody is fearful also, then they will become agitated. And sex life also agitates. So without this, all this, one should chant Hare Krishna with and try to focus the mind on the Shravanam process and the ears. And of course, we have to make Krishna the ultimate goal of life. Thus, practicing constant control of the body, mind, and activities. The mystic transcendentalist, his mind regulated, attains the kingdom of God by cessation of material existence. Okay, this is clear. Nasti asnatastu yogosti. There's no possibility of becoming a yogi if you eat too much. Or too less. Sleep too much. Don't sleep enough. Of course, this don't sleep enough happens automatically when somebody is at the yoga ruda stage. It doesn't require sleep. It's not that he's not sleeping enough. He just doesn't require sleep. His body is running on spiritual strength. But this also, we should not eat too much. Now it is Kartik month, every day there is some Deepdan program. We go to somebody's house and then we are having prasadam and feast. It's okay, just eat only as much as is required. Don't eat too much. This eating too much is only for those who are in the initial stages of bhakti because they need some higher taste. So we say, okay, you eat as much as possible. But for those who are in Krishna consciousness for some time and who have nice sadhana, you should not eat too much and sleep too much. Normally, eat too little, sleep too little won't be applicable for most devotees. It's normally eating too much or sleeping too much. And if it is eat too little or sleep too little, possibly because of some health condition, not willingly. Yuktahara viharasya yukta chestasya karmasu. Yukta swapnavabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha. Regulated in eating, sleeping, recreation and work. He can mitigate all material pains by dukkha. He can become free from dukkha by the practice of yoga. And the yogi, by practice of yoga, disciplines his mental activities and becomes situated in transcendence, meaning above material desires. He is said to be well established in yoga. Yukta iti uchyate tada. Then disciplines his mental activities, become situated in transcendence. As a lamp in a windless place does not waver, so the transcendentalist whose mind is controlled remains always steady in his meditation on the transcendental self. He remains steady in hearing the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So now this is trance samadhi. So for Ashtanga yogi, he comes to this stage after going through dharana, dhyana, then samadhi. Pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. And so what is this samadhi? Mind is completely restrained from material mental activities. Perfection is characterized by one's ability to see the self by the pure mind and to relish and rejoice in the self. So this is all engagement of the Atma. So this is the Brahmabhuta stage. So in the joyous stage, one is situated in boundless transcendental happiness, realized through transcendental senses. So this is the liberation stage where the senses have become transcendental. Establish that thus one never departs from the truth, and upon gaining this, he thinks there is no greater gain. Being situated in such a situation, one is never shaken even in the midst of greatest difficulty. This indeed is actual freedom from all miseries arising from material contact. So when one comes to this stage of samadhi, then he's close to perfection. He's close to perfection. Meaning, he says stage of perfection, that also has a beginning and an end. So someone enters stage of samadhi and makes progress. Right? Meaning, initially maybe we are not able to retain our samadhi for long, meaning our focus on Krishna, on the holy name for long, but we are able to do in bits and pieces. Right? Then after some time we come to constant remembrance, constant touch with Krishna. That is samadhi. So then obviously he is free from material, he is beyond the material platform, and because he is constantly in touch with Krishna, he is constantly in a happy, experiencing transcendental, boundless transcendental happiness. So this is very important. One should engage oneself in the practice of yoga with determination and faith. This is very, very important. Nishchayena, sankalpa. One should abandon all material desires without exception. No exception. All material desires. Control all the senses on all sides by the mind. So we should give up material desires. So we should engage in yoga with determination and faith. Gradually, step by step, one should become situated in trance by means of intelligence sustained by full conviction, and thus the mind should be fixed on the self alone and should think of nothing else. And from wherever the mind wanders, due to its flickering and unsteady nature, manas chanchalam astiram, one must certainly withdraw it and bring it back under the control of the self. Same thing, when you're chanting, mind goes here and there, bring it back and again focus on hearing the nama. The yogi whose mind is fixed on me verily attains the highest perfection of transcendental happiness. He is beyond the mode of passion. He realizes this qualitative identity with the Supreme. Thus, he is freed from all reactions of past deeds, whose mind is fixed upon Krishna. Thus, the self-controlled yogi, constantly engaged in yoga practice, becomes free from all material contamination and achieves the highest stage of perfect happiness in transcendental loving service to the Lord. So, Sukhena Brahma Samsparsham. So Prabhupada is translating Brahma Samsparsham as transcendental loving service. Okay, so these are some qualities of the yogi who is in this perfect stage. Right? So he's experiencing happiness, he's free from material contamination, then he observes Krishna in all living beings and sees every being in Krishna. Yeah. He sees the same Supreme Lord everywhere. Of course, for a devotee, actually he sees the Supreme Lord. Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena. But till then, we will see energy of Krishna everywhere. And we'll see Atma everywhere. We'll see Krishna's material Shakti acting everywhere. And Krishna is saying, for one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I am never lost, nor is he ever lost to me. Which means that we will never be non-Krishna conscious. All the time we are Krishna conscious. Such a yogi who engages in the worshipful service of the Super Soul, knowing that I and the Super Soul are one, remains always in me in all circumstances. So Krishna is saying even a yogi or a gnani who is concentrating on the Super Soul, they'll remain in me in all circumstances, because the Paramatma is actually the expansion of Krishna, or Amsha of Krishna. So so they remain always with Krishna. But it doesn't give us the same happiness as being with Krishna. But yes, still they're in Krishna. He is a perfect yogi who, by comparison to his own self, sees the true equality. See, this is very important actually. By comparison to his own self. Whenever we see others, we should always think, okay, what if I were in that situation? Suppose, say, there is a old person and he is standing and I am sitting. Then what I should say? I should see that, okay, tomorrow I will also be in that stage. So we should think of all jivas comparing with our own self. This is one external way of looking at this. The other way of this, we are looking at ourselves as Atma. We have to see everybody else is also Atma in both their happiness and distress. So both materially and spiritually, we should apply this in our life. Materially, when others are suffering, we should see, okay, see if I were suffering in this condition, what I would have done, and then feel compassionate towards them. And see ourselves as Atma, see everybody else as also Atma. That is perfect yoga. Okay, so I'll stop here. When Arjuna asks a very important question, we'll continue tomorrow. Any questions? Any questions, anybody? No questions. Okay, no questions, and we'll end. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Mancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyo cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Pranam, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Pranam.
Hope you're making some notes, because otherwise so many things being discussed. It will just be again one more hearing and we'll forget. Okay. Hare Krishna. We'll disconnect.
Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.